Night covers the earth like a slow wave. In deserts, in small towns, on rooftops in big cities, people look up and see the same sky. They think the sky is empty. They think the stars are far away and silent. But the sky is not empty and it is not silent. It listens, it remembers, and sometimes it speaks back. Far above, an object moves through the dark. It does not blink. It does not shout with flame. It crosses the deep like a needle through cloth. Astronomers give it a name with numbers and letters. Online, the name changes, then changes again, until people call it something they can hold in the mouth, 3I/Atlas. Some say it is only a comet. Others say it is a messenger from another sun. A few whisper a sharper word, Mothership. Down below, a porch light burns against the night. A small camera looks out from the eaves of a house on a quiet street. Inside, a mother walks from one room to another, and her phone sleeps in her hand. She does not know that, a few minutes ago, her door camera woke up and saw something strange. It saved the moment like a breath held in the lungs. The night kept going, the house kept breathing, and somewhere beyond the curve of the planet, the object kept coming on. This is a story about two paths that cross without touching, one path in the sky, one path on the ground. It is a story about doubt and faith, about fear and wonder, and about a question that grew so large it wrapped around the world. What is really out there? And what is already here? The first telescope to notice the traveler is not romantic. It does not wear brass and wood like an old sailor's spyglass. It is a machine in the high, dry air of the Andes, where the wind feels like glass and the stars cut clean. It keeps watch every night, sweeping the sky for anything new, anything fast, anything that does not belong. It finds a point of light with no history. The point is quiet, but its path is not. The numbers do not line up with the usual story of a harmless comet that will pass and be forgotten. The object is big, bigger than a city island, and it moves almost 100 kilometers every second when it dives near the sun. That is a speed that makes most human rockets seem like toys. Screens glow in dark control rooms. People type. Calculations run. The point is small, but its shadow in human minds grows large. Messages go out to other telescopes. Some see a faint veil around it like dust and gas, what comets do when sunlight wakes the ice. Others say the veil is weak or strange. The object slips into a file marked interstellar visitor. That means it did not come from here. It came from the cold space between the stars. On the internet, the talk starts. Words like probe and artificial and designed float up like bubbles. Scientists argue with care. They say, we need more data. They say it could be ordinary, just unusual. A few say we should also consider the other possibility. They are careful with that word. Alien, the object does not care about the words. It keeps to its path, which leans almost perfectly into the flat plane where the planets circle the sun. It will reach its closest point behind the sun, where eyes on Earth cannot follow. The timing is cold and clean. The numbers are unsettling. But numbers have no fear. People do. On a quiet street, the porch light shows a slice of concrete and a garden bed. A motion sensor waits. The night is not loud here. It holds distant traffic, a dog across the block, a plane miles away. Inside, Jessica talks softly to her son. The day was long. She thinks about the dishes, the alarm, the emails that pile up at midnight. She walks down the hall. Her phone unlocks in her hand. A small orange dot sits on the screen. A notification. The camera saw something at the door 4 minutes ago. She taps the alert. The clip opens. It is short. The frame shows the driveway, the walkway, the edge of the lawn. In the corner, near the edge of the light, there is a shape. It is not clear. It is not a person in the simple way she expects. The shape is thin and the head is wrong. The light hits it and falls away like water. Her chest tightens. She tells herself it could be a cat, a bad shadow, a trick from a passing car. She does not want to say the other word. She calls to her son. He watches the clip. His face changes. Fear is a wire. It runs fast between people who love each other. Jessica calls the neighbor in the back house. It is 1 a.m. She asks if someone came through the gate. No, the neighbor steps outside with her own phone. She does not see anyone on the street. She plays the clip that Jessica sends. She says, "Why did you send me this?" She is half joking, half not. Jessica closes the blinds. She does not look out the window. She hears a sound then from above, like fingers dragging across a drum. A scratch, then another, then a heavy thump that makes the ceiling lights tremble. The sound is not under the house, it is on the roof. Prayers are old. They rise up in times like these, whether or not a person believes. She whispers one. In the morning, she will walk to the neighbor's door and ask again. She will post the clip in a local group. She will wonder if the camera saw a truth that the eye would not have endured. The house does not move. The night goes on. Somewhere a cat screams and falls silent. Across the world, people sit before microphones and talk. Some are hosts of shows about mysteries. Some are scientists who do not like the word mystery, but must use it anyway. The object in space gives them a reason to gather in split screens and argue politely. The third-person eye sees inside their minds without judgment. One thinks, this is a comet with a strange path. The dust shows it. Another thinks, the dust is not enough. The path is too neat. The timing too sharp. Consider design. A third thinks, it may not matter what it is. We are not ready to meet anything that can move like that. They talk about the quiet time when the object will slip behind the sun. They talk about gravity as a hand that can push or pull if you pass near a star and fire your engines at the right moment. They talk about how a craft would want to hide at the moment of its biggest change. They talk about how humanity cannot catch up to something going that fast. Not now, not yet. Online, other voices rise. They say words like blue beam and grand plan and fake invasion. They share dates. They share fear. They share excitement that tastes like fear. The third-person eye sees the pattern clearly. When the unknown grows, rumor grows with it like vines on a fence. Rumor does not mean truth, but rumor shows where people hurt. In a small office, a young editor cuts a video with tight music and bold words. In a lab, a tired graduate student rechecks a code that fits a curve to dots of light. In a truck, a security guard scrolls on a phone at 3 a.m. and watches a clip of a thin shape beside a porch. He turns up the volume as if sound will help the eyes see. Above them all, the object keeps its date with the sun. The third-person eye crosses many roofs in many towns. It hears stories that rhyme. A gate sensor that trips with no one there, a backyard camera that triggers before the porch light, a dog that stares at the corner of a room and growls at nothing anyone can see. Some clips are tricks of light. Some are bugs on lenses. Some are neighbors in hoodies who do not want to be known. But a few are not easy to file away. They show shapes that do not fit. Too thin, too tall. Heads that lean too far forward like plants that grew in a cave and are not used to the sky. The eye returns to Jessica's street. By day it is normal. Kids on scooters, a delivery van, a man mowing a lawn. She shows the clip to her aunt next door. The aunt says she woke at night to a heavy bang, then another, then the crawling sound, the scratch on the roof. Fear came into her room like cold air. She prayed. She did not want to check. She did not want to be brave. Jessica checks other cameras. The one across the street did not trigger. The one at the back gate did not either. This is strange. But cameras are not perfect. People forget that. She saves the clip anyway. She does not claim it is proof. She says only this. This is what I saw. This is what I heard. At the edge of town, a power line buzzes. A crow sits on it and shakes rain from its wings. The day moves on. The sky is blue and empty. But the third-person eye knows what hangs beyond the blue. The object is falling toward the sun, and the sun is waiting like a door. The day comes when telescopes cannot follow the visitor anymore. The sun is between the earth and the object. The light is too bright, the air too thick, the view too close to the star that feeds every shadow here. The third-person eye sees the path like a drawn line. It sees how a clever pilot might plan a burn at closest approach, where a small push becomes a huge change. It sees how a natural object might do nothing at all and still be flung by gravity into a wider arc, like a stone thrown past a whirlpool. It sees how, for a short time, the visitor can choose a new fate unseen by any eye on Earth. People on the ground wait and fill the waiting with words. Some pack their cars with bottles and cans and say, just in case. Some write long posts about how this is only a comet and laugh at fear like a party trick. Some feel a low hum in the body, like the way you can feel a storm before you see it. They cannot explain it. They do not need to. The body has memories older than science. At midnight, Jessica wakes to the sound of wind on the roof. It is only wind this time, she tells herself that. She believes it enough to sleep again. Across an ocean, an astronomer leans back in a chair and rubs his eyes. He trusts the math more than rumors. He knows the math is not a promise, only a map. He thinks of sailors who went past the edge of their charts and drew monsters in the blank sea. Behind the sun, the visitor reaches its turn. When the object comes back into view, the first images are soft. The daylight air blurs the stars. The object seems to wear a halo now, a coma like many comets do. Some instruments pick up a whisper of broken water, bits of ice thrown off by heat. Other instruments say the whisper is weak, as if the ice is a mask, not a face. The third-person eye sees the argument rise again. Natural, artificial, dust, signal. It is easy to start a fight with two good words. It is hard to end it without more. But something else rides back with the object, stories. They land like rain in crowded forums and quiet group chats. A farm outside a small city hears a bang and sees a breeze pull across the grass while the trees stand still. A warehouse camera catches a thin figure glide past a shuttered bay. No footsteps, or maybe the sound is lost in the harsh buzz of the fluorescent lights. In Jessica's town, nothing happens for 3 nights, and that is its own kind of event. Sleep returns. Her son laughs at a video on his phone, the house breathes, the camera waits. Then a new alert at 3:07 a.m. The clip this time shows only a sliver of the driveway. The motion seems to come from the shadow, not from the light. A shape leans into the edge of the frame like someone peeking around a door. The head is long. The shoulders are narrow. The hand, if it is a hand, rests against the stucco wall and leaves nothing behind. In the morning, she goes outside and looks up at the roofline. She sees small scratches on the paint where the eave meets the wall. They could be anything. They could be everything. The third-person eye moves between the sky and the ground, between the object and the house, and sees that the two lines come close but do not cross. The mind wants stories to meet cleanly. It wants a ship above and a figure below and a clear thread between them. The world rarely gives such clean gifts. Still, the world gives something. The eye sees how the presence of a strange thing in the sky changes the way people look at strange things on the street. The sky story makes the ground story feel heavier. The ground story makes the sky story feel closer. Each feeds the other. At a university, a professor tells a class that extraordinary claims need extraordinary proof. In a cafe, a girl tells a friend that she saw lights over the hill 2 nights ago, and the friend leans in as if they share a secret. Online, a man writes that all of this is a plan to scare people into the same box. Another man writes that the plan is to hide the real thing with a fake one. The third-person eye sees that both men feel small and want to feel large. This is not an insult. It is a human fact. On the roof of Jessica's house, ants walk a perfect road from a tiny crack to a bottle cap under the gutter. They do not care about comets or cameras. They care about sugar. The world holds many truths at once, large and small. Weeks pass, telescopes keep watching. The object grows fainter as it moves on. It is not gone. It is only farther away. Astronomers write papers. Some say it looked like a natural comet in the end with signs of water and dust. Others say they cannot be sure. The third-person eye sees the soft truth. A mystery can be mostly solved and still leave a dark seam that the mind cannot stop touching. At the house, the camera collects ordinary nights. Moths, a neighbor's cat, a delivery at noon. Jessica edits her clip into a longer video with the voice messages she recorded that night. She says she does not know what she saw. She says she only knows how it felt. She says fear is real even when the cause is unclear. She posts it. Some people laugh, some people thank her. Some tell their own stories, and the stories braid together like river channels. The third-person eye looks down on the world and sees how it glows from the inside with small screens. It sees children under blankets looking at stars in photos and learning the names. Orion, Andromeda, the Milky Way. It sees old men on porches telling younger men how, in their time, the lights were fewer and the dark was deeper. It sees a pilot alone in a cockpit at night, watching a point of light move where no plane should be. The sky remains. The earth remains. The question remains. At the start, the sky seemed empty. Now the sky seems crowded. The truth is likely somewhere in between. The third-person eye can step back farther than any person and look at the whole. From that wide view, a simple pattern appears. People fear what they cannot measure. People love what they cannot reach. People argue to protect both. A comet can be only a comet and still change a life. A camera clip can be only a trick of light and still make a person touch the lock twice before bed. A rumor can be wrong and still show the shape of a real worry underneath. A story can be true in more than one way. If there are minds in the dark between stars, they may not think in stories. They may not think in fear. They may not think of us at all. But if they do, and if they come, it may not be with bright engines and silver hulls. It may be with quiet eyes at the edge of a porch light, learning us the way we learn them, one careful step at a time. Night rises again over deserts and small towns and rooftops. The porch camera waits. The telescopes wait. Hearts wait. The visitor is far now, but not forgotten. And somewhere a young person stands in a yard and looks up and feels something at the base of the spine, a pull from above and a push from within. The sky is not empty. The sky is a question. What matters is what we do with the answer when it finally arrives.